Will it survive, Charlie?
Well, I'm mixed about this. Funny enough, as much as I can't stand the euro and the whole concept of the euro, I can see where it falling apart could bring.
Why are you so hostile to it?
Well, because it was a political machination. I think Jackie was right. I remember when the thing came in, and I had a radio program at the time, and I used to quote quite frequently the fact of that never before in the history of mankind has monetary union preceded political union. This was done as a way to sort of make a fait accompli in bringing a closer political union that the elites in Brussels wanted, but the people didn't. And what really summed it up for me was when you looked at the notes, and on it, you know, you look at a British note, there's a picture of the Queen on one side, somebody you know, on the other is something that's for real, be it, I think Adam Smith is on one of the notes right now. On the Euro notes, you have fake bridges and windowsills, and that sort of summed the whole thing up for me. And it amazes me, you listen to Gordon Brown talking about the fact that, yes, you don't have that tool, very important tools of setting your own interest rates or currency valuations. I wonder where he was 10 years ago when he was Chancellor. I mean, thankfully the United Kingdom didn't get into the euro.
The suspicion always was that he wasn't very keen, and I guess he's now being a little more obvious about that. But just to take one example, I know you've lived in Ireland in the past. Ireland is clearly in terrible straits just now, but it's not necessarily to do with the euro, is it?
I think for a large part,
it would still be as bad.
I think for a large part, though, it is because unfortunately they have lost that key independence of being able to set interest rates, and that's been their main problem over the years. Is there's been a glut of money. The interest rate that suits Germany, that's going to kind of call the shots, does not suit Ireland. You've had a glut of money that has come in. I've watched them become nouveau riche, if you will, and transform. And you know, I'm not against capital wealth and the creation of wealth. And Ireland has done very well over the years. But at the same time, I was there back in Trim in County Meath recently, and I couldn't find my way around the town. I mean, this was a town that was once famous for having one set of traffic lights, and now they've put new streets in, and giant EU buildings and houses that no one's living in, and big fancy golf resort hotels. And I was talking to one old-timer that owns a clothing shop, and he says, yeah, you can't, you know, leave your door open like you did in the old days. You know, they've put in motorways that are unneeded. I'm not against motorways per se, but up through the hill of Tara where I used to go hunting, there's something like 3 or 4 motorways going up to Belfast that are essentially empty and unneeded. And it's just a crying shame. I mean, the reason they all want to be in the club is because, unfortunately, it's almost run like the mafia in many ways as far as trade is concerned. And it's sort of like either you join us or we cut you off. It's not really a free trade organization like they claim to be. It's great if you're supposedly in the club. But, you know, Ireland, just to go back to what you were saying, I mean, to what extent the EU helped Ireland, a lot of it was actually helped by, of course, the fact of after Charlie Haughey in the 80s, they decided to have tax at a more palatable rate. They made it friendly to business. It was companies like Dell, Microsoft, and what have you, you know, that came into Ireland and saw that they had a very educated workforce. It was a good place to be. Low tax rates, which of course the EU, if they had their way, would like to change their corporate tax.